somebody who watches dubbed, you're like, oh snap, that's Christopher Spot. You get a respect. Now, my dude Kirito, right? What everybody knows who Kirito is from SAO. Bryce Papenbrook. Bryce Papenbrook is a phenomenal voice actor. He's done Eric. He's done Aaron Yeager.
Aaron Yeager.
He's done Kirito. He played in Unlimited Blade Works from Fate. I mean, I could go down his whole list. This dude has been in everything. Hey, and when I hear his voice, he's played Inosuke from Demon Slayer.
I feel like what they're trying to say is they haven't unlocked their Sharingan.
That's not what. You know what?
That's what.
Hold on. That's the thing.
You know what?
Actually,
which is better, subtitles or the dub?
All right, I'm a dub watcher.
When I started watching anime, there was no dub.
Have you ever watched it subbed?
So I just started watching it in sub.
Okay, here we go.
So here's something dope. We've been watching cartoons and anime for God knows how long now, right? And there's been that strong debates over which is better, subtitles or the dubs. We love our voice actors out there. I've done a couple voice things myself, but there's also that bigger thing, which is better.
Well, first things first, if you're not watching your anime subbed, then you're doing it wrong. So
yeah, I would agree. You're missing. You're way too far behind. I would say you're way too far behind.
I'll say this. I started out just on dubbed and wouldn't do anything subbed, but whenever My Hero Academia season 6 came out, I couldn't wait, so I just started watching it in subbed. Like with my complications with dyslexia and stuff, it's kind of hard, but I'm pushing through it. But that's why I usually watch dubbed.
Well, I apologize, and I'm glad that you work through and you fight through your disability. However, you can't even catch up. I think Andy already said it. You have to catch up to the subbed. They don't even release. They can't find the voice actors to find a time to even do the dubs.
Can I get a show of hands? Who's seen the most recent episode of My Hero Academia?
Oh,
Jesus! The most recent, not Tartarus.
I see where you go.
Not Tartarus.
Okay, I see where you go.
Disrespectful. There's been more episodes since Tartarus. I just haven't had time. So I'm a dubbed watcher. I don't feel no type of way. I watch my animes dubbed. But you know why I watch it dubbed? Because I speak English. I want to hear it. I want to be able to...
Here we go.
I will say this. The reason I started is because I'm old. And when I started watching anime, there was no dubbed. It was all subbed.
It was all subbed.
So I started off like...
What was your first anime?
It was the Vampire Hunter D.
Whoa, that was your first?
Ooh,
that was my first anime. Now, you can argue that Voltron could be part of that, but I'm not going to go there. That, to me, was a cartoon, not an anime.
Yes, I agree.
So, I started off with Vampire Hunter D as my first anime, and I was hooked. I don't care if it's subbed. I'll watch it all day long. And yes, I understand I have a reading comprehension problem, so retaining that stuff was hard. But having both of those, oh my gosh, Vampire Hunter D,
so let me
still to this day is my favorite.
Word. And it's a lot of us who started out watching anime should definitely have Vampire Hunter D as one of those first anime watches.
Absolutely.
Mine was Akira, and then there's Ninja Scroll.
Yep, I've watched both of those.
Akira, Ninja Scroll.
And Crying Freeman.
So let me ask a question, though. What defines an anime versus a cartoon?
Isn't it just going to be studio animation? Like, where it was derived and if there's a manga behind it?
There's actually a comparison between the two, or a difference between the two. So American cartoons are They don't connect. There's no story that connects between each individual episode. Typically, you have one episode, you're going to go to the next episode, it has nothing to do with the previous episode. It will probably never mention anything from that episode again. The only exceptions are something like
I was about to say.
So when you actually look up what is anime, anime is a style of Japanese film and television animation.
Yes.
Thank you. It started out as Japanese anime.
Japanimation.
Right? And then it went in. We started with Japanese animation, then it went into Japanimation, and then we just shortened it and said, screw it. Animation. Mm-hmm. We just want to go anime.
No,
Anime.
So you're saying Voltron is not an anime or Japanese animation?
Technically, it is.
Voltron
started out as a Japanese
anime.
Yes.
It is.
It technically is.
It is,
It is. What he's getting at is the fact that it just doesn't, to him, it doesn't feel like it's Japanese anime because of how he came up with it.
Well, and because when I came up with it in the early 80s, it was already dubbed in English.
That was for a sales pitch to get Americans involved. It's the same thing with the pilot episodes of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Watch episode 1 and 2, and you will see a difference in the animation.
And the anime, it goes from Japan type to American. Boom. Yes, it does.
That is absolutely true.
What a throwback.
So
that's incorrect.
So then does that mean continuity from episode to episode makes it an anime? And I thought cartoons were generally like comedy based.
Some cartoons aren't comedy based either. There are some serious cartoons as well.
I mean, but like, if we're talking about the core understanding of what cartoons were when they started and whatnot, it was more comedy based. Like
when
cartoon rules. Like
Warner Brothers and Looney Tunes.
Also think about that difference between cartoons versus anime. When you look at anime, there's power systems in almost every single anime that we watch. In cartoons, there's what we know as cartoon rules. Cartoon characters are OP because they're just indestructible. They can do pretty much anything. They could pull anything out
Wile
of
E. Coyote.
Exactly.
Yes.
Here's something to what Nas was saying, which is very important, and to kind of like wrap everything up together. So it's an art style, right? It's an art style, and this actually backs up a point that Matt was trying to say. For the pilot episode of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, if you look at it closely, it kind of reminds you of a Voltron. You get what I'm saying? Because of the lines, the type of art, the structure. To me, when I look at anime, there's a certain way they draw the human body, the figures, the eyes. The eyes is what people recognize.
Yes.
Right? Just like if you really look at comic books, you know that this is like a Jim Lee cover art versus name your favorite comic book artist here. You can tell who it is.
Right.
You know? So now, typically when you come down to cartoons, things like that are American cartoons are satirical. We talk about Looney Tunes, Bugs Bunny. Ha ha ha, it's funny. Flintstones, same thing. It's not as intense, and it doesn't pull you in as a Japanese animation.
At the same time, you have a hate me if you want. Hey, I don't care. Please hate me. As a matter of fact, please hate me.
He's mad they hate him.
But if you, I can binge a season of an anime. I can't binge a season of a cartoon. And I don't want to associate with people like binge. I don't want to associate with people like can binge.
So I have a question then, going off of like comics and everything like that. What would we classify the comics from, like the animated movies from DC? Like, would those would still be cartoons, right?
That's so interesting.
American animation. It's an American animation. It's the same thing like Castlevania. Castlevania is
like
not
Invincible.
Japanese.
Or X-Men back in 1995.
Series is an American animation. So it'd be the same thing as the DC animation.
So right. So you guys all grew up loving the cartoons, the early things that we're talking about.
Even the late.
Did you guys have to read subtitles when you watched those?
No. Dragon Ball Z,
Dragon Ball,
Dragon Ball Z and Yu Yu Hakusho.
Yes.
The reason I say that is because the reason I watched dubbed, because that's where we initially started, was dub versus sub. The reason I watched dubbed is because what got me interested in animation, period, whether it's Japanese animation or American animation, was the fact that I can look at these characters and I can hear the voice and emotions with it. I can, and I watch things subbed, I do, but I just prefer dubbed for the simple fact that that's how I grew up watching it.
Can I just second something that Mr. Jers is saying? the other thing that we have to take into account is the nostalgia that you get when I listen to the voice actors. For example, Christopher Sabat, right? Christopher Sabat has played. He the original gangster. This dude has been dubbing anime since the 90s. Okay, he's played Piccolo. He's played All Might, right? We're talking about he's
Captain
played
Yami.
Captain Yami. So when you hear his voice as somebody who watches dubbed, you're like, oh snap, that's Christopher Sabat. You get a respect. Now, my dude Kirito, right? What everybody knows who Kirito is from SAO. Bryce Papenbrook. Bryce Papenbrook is a phenomenal voice actor. He's done Eric. He's done Eren Yeager.
Eren Yeager.
He's done Kirito. He played in Unlimited Blade Works from Fate. I mean, I could go down his whole list. This dude has been in everything. And when I hear his voice, he's played Inosuke from Demon Slayer.
I feel like what they're trying to say is they haven't unlocked their Sharingan.
That's the thing.
I challenge you guys to do this, okay? You can go on your TV, you can watch it in dubbed, but throw those subtitles up and see the difference. What they say in sub and because there's a whole different
dialogue is different. That's one of the biggest things. Different. So that's one of the biggest things between hearing it subtitled and hearing it dubbed is that they change it for American censorship. You just don't get the full If you watched it dubbed, like say you watched like the final battle in Naruto dubbed, it'd be like, I'm gonna take you down, Naruto. But then you watch it subtitled, it's like, I'm gonna kill you, Naruto. Like they change
exactly.
And that meaning.
I'll let you have it.
When you watch it subbed and then you are looking at the English the translation. Like I've been to Japan. When you watch the subbed and you get the English translation, it's not what they're saying in Japanese. So English people are getting a different perspective. We're not watching the same animes.
We're not
watching the same anime.
Well, hold on. Let me just ask. I'm not gonna, without bringing up any scene. This is just one question I have to ask. Did everyone here tear up at all during the Naruto season?
100%.
Did anybody get emotional?
Yeah.
So, regardless whether if it's English or Japanese, you are getting the content. Yes. No matter how they're saying it, you're still receiving it. You're still getting it.
But I will kill you and I will hurt you. We're two different.
It's two.
One will get you. One will put you in prison.
Hold on. I got to piggyback. I feel you. But has everybody here watched Seven Deadly Sins?
Yes.
For the most part? Okay. Whether you watch this particular scene, and I think you guys know where I'm going, subbed or dubbed, then you get the same feel of who decided that. And when I heard that in English,
that's not fair.
I backed up from my TV.
You said that's not fair? Who decided that?
It's one of the greatest lines in anime history. So where you rank it, but what I'm saying is it doesn't matter subbed or dubbed.
So again, Attack on Titan, right? When Eren Yeager turns into the Titan for the second time and he can't control it, and they go to the scene where he's in his head and he feels like he's sitting in his house, and he's like, "What am I?" But Armin speaks to him and he says, "What does the life outside the walls mean to you? Why are you after it?" And he drops that line and he says, "The life beyond the walls is my birthright." And how he says that in English is so powerful. In English, he's like, "The life beyond the walls is my birthright." And he hits that so hard and takes control of the Attack Titan. Son, I'm sorry. It doesn't matter.
There is so many amazing American voice actors out there. One of them is Keith David. You all know him as Goliath in Gargoyles. He's also done Princess Mononoke. And then the other one is Steve Blum. Steve Blum played Wolverine. He also played one of the characters in Samurai Champloo. I didn't know for the longest time that, we're talking about Dragon Ball now, that Goku was voiced by a woman. That high-pitched voice, I'm like, who the hell?
So was Naruto.
Exactly. And I don't even know if the point is we have to show love to these people. We have to show love to them. Give it a try, right? I think the easiest thing for us to do right now, because, most of us are working and we're paying attention, we want to listen to the English dub. But
that's one of my points.
Involved in culture. If You want to get involved in their culture. You listen to it in the native tongue and you read the subtitles. The dude who voiced Kirito is amazing, right? Because that's the one person I can't think of his name.
On both sides, both voice actors.
Yes. I mean, I should probably be giving plus
beast mode, bro.
I'm gonna tell you what ruined it for me. When I grew up Dragon Ball Z, like most of us here, right? And the first time you hear Goku go Super Saiyan, how cool did that sound? That growl. And the first time I heard Goku go Super Saiyan subbed, it sounded like somebody put a card on the back of a pedal bike.
First time I heard it was subbed. So
and see, I'm opposite of you. I'm opposite of you because I've seen it in both, and I liked it better in the Japanese voice than I did in anything English.
Nani?
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Really?
Omae wa mo shinderu.
Yep.
Oh my God. See, that's the North Star. I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that felt the same way you did. Just like I'm sure there's people out here that felt the same way I did. The first time I heard it, it threw me off. I didn't say it was terrible. It wasn't what I was expecting. When I hear Goku go Super Saiyan, I'm expecting a certain tone, certain sound, and it was not that at all.
Right. Like when Goku yells out to Vegeta, he's like, Vegeta! And then in sub, he's like, Vegeta! You're like, what?
Different. It's just different.
Okay, so you know what, though? Did you ever watch Dragon Ball? First,
the OG?
Dragon Ball. OG Dragon Ball.
Oh, no, of course.
So you notice that Goku, if you really want to call a spade, Goku, the character himself, did not grow up. Right. Even as an adult, he still acted like a punk kid.
Yep.
Oh yeah, he was ready for the fight, but he was still a punk kid. But he still had childlike tendencies. So you know what? The fact that they kept that voice, he's a bad father. The fact that he kept that voice, I don't mind that he's like, I don't mind that because he's a kid.
A lot of people agree with you. You're absolutely right. I get it.
Okay,
I just don't.
But I just got to say this though. I have to give props to the Japanese animation. Because look at what it sparked. You have France, you have Germany, you have so many other countries that are trying to, Korea. You've got all these other countries that are trying to do the same thing. They're trying to capitalize on that animation.
Yeah. And speaking of which, Jers, you mentioned one Korean anime, God of High School.
God of High School. I'll just say this last point about why I watch dubbed. Other than growing up with it, I'm busy, just like a lot of us here, just like a lot of people out there. So it's a lot easier for me. Like I think Mr. Chill was saying it earlier. It's a lot easier for me to watch dubbed and multitask. I can put on. I'm still watching Black Clover. I know everybody's gonna hate me for that. I'm still watching Black Clover, but I can have that on. I can.
You're watching it.
Do a bunch of other things.
You know, are
while
you?
I work. I'm on episode 111 currently.
Nice.
So
keep it up.
I'm inching my way to the finish line. I'll probably be done.
That's a real lazy argument. I'm sorry. That's a real lazy argument because I'm trying to do other things while I'm watching the anime. You're either watching the anime or you're not. You're not watching the anime. If you're doing other things while you're watching the anime, you're not watching the anime.
Mad V, that's called an audio book. But anyways, listen.
There's a lot of. I got a lot of things going on, just like a lot of other people. So sometimes it's easier to watch dub because you can't sit and dedicate your time to watching anime for 24 hours.
Animation is a global art form, right? There's different shapes, there's different sizes, there's different styles, and they all should be well represented, loved, and nurtured. Guys, let us know what you think as far as subbed versus dubbed, and your favorite anime. Like, comment, and subscribe below. And tune in next time.
Yep, I've watched both of those.
Here in Ninja Scroll
and Crying Freeman.
And what?
You never seen Crying Freeman?
No.
What? Are you making stuff up?
Crying Freeman.
He's punking us right now.
Freeman right now. You're not getting punked.
I feel like I'm getting punked right now.
Crying Freeman, Akira, Ninja Scroll. Classics.
Okay.
Crying Freeman. Okay. All right.
I'm looking to now.
Well, classics to him, it's at 95. So, I mean, I was watching Vampire Hunter D a long time before that.
So,
Rama, what happened?
Has everybody seen Naruto here? Everybody's watched Naruto?
Of course.
Justin, have you seen it? Okay. Justin, you have not?
Oh, man. Take your glasses off.
All right. No. I'm just saying. Okay.